Let us understand the concept of educational research. Educational research has been defined by Gay et al. 2012 as a formal, systematic application of scientific method to the study of educational problems. Knowledge can be acquired through experience, from authority, or through reasoning, which involves both inductive and deductive reasoning. If these methods are used independently, all these methods of acquiring knowledge have some limitations, but when used together in scientific method, they can result in finding appropriate solution to the problem. So scientific method tries to integrate the various methods of acquiring the knowledge and involves identification and definition of a problem, formulation of hypothesis, collection of data, and analysis of data and interpretation of data to solve educational problems. Scientific method make an assumption that every effect has a cause. And let's now understand how this scientific method is utilized in educational research. The process starts with the teacher or the researcher making a casual observation in the environment and making some significant observations. And on the basis of those observations, the researcher tries to generate hypotheses. Now, for example, a teacher who is likely to observe the environment finds out that the teachers who are utilizing group activities in the classroom, the performance of those students is higher than those students who are taught through traditional methods of instruction. On the basis of the review of related literature, the researcher tries to formulate the hypothesis that is a tentative solution to the problem that maybe the students taught through group activities show significantly higher achievement in the subject in comparison to those who are taught through traditional methods of instruction. So, deductive reasoning is then used to formulate the implications of these hypotheses. And the researcher tries to take stock of the alternate propositions and try to see on what population or sample the study needs to be conducted, how statistically that hypothesis can be proved. And then the study is carried out in the field where sample is selected, data is collected, data is analyzed and interpreted, and then the interpretation of the data lead to addition to the existing body of knowledge. So both deductive and inductive reasoning is used. When from casual observation hypotheses are formulated, inductive reasoning is utilized by the researcher, and when implications of hypotheses are formulated, deductive reasoning is utilized by the researcher. So this application of scientific method leads to finding solution to educational problems. Research can be classified either on the basis of purpose or on the basis of methods. So let's first understand how many types of research exist on the basis of purposes it serves. One of the types of research is basic research. The purpose of basic research is to generate new knowledge. Now, for example, how people learn or how people memorize a given material, that kind of research which is carried out in laboratory-like setting with all rigorous controls exercised comes under the fold of basic research. The second type of research is applied research. Now, whatever theory, principles are generated as a result of basic research, they are applied in the field to find solution to the problems in the field setting. And here, if you come across that when this person is given an environment where he can interact with each other, he or she is enabled to construct knowledge for himself or herself, and this can be now tested in the field to journalize the findings of the studies carried out in laboratory setting. Or if you are facing a problem, you apply the research to find solution to the problem. So applied research is carried out in the field, and the basic purpose is either to journalize the findings of basic research and to find solution to the problems faced by the researcher or the practitioners. The third type of research is action research. Action research aims at finding solution to the localized problems faced by the practitioner, and the research is also undertaken by the practitioner himself or herself. Say for example, a teacher faces problem in the classroom, he or she is unable to motivate the learners, and thus there is low performance of student in the subject. Now this is a very specific problem faced by one teacher teaching one particular subject in a classroom situation. So here the teacher himself undertakes research to find out ways and means of arousing and sustaining motivational level of the learner, and then solve the problem faced by him or her. So action research is context specific, and the findings cannot be generalized to other settings. Another type of research is evaluation research. Evaluation research aims at determining the worth of processes, products, etc., which are used in teaching learning. For example, a program which has been implemented, it can be evaluated. New strategy which has been implemented, it can be evaluated, or the impact of the program on the society, or impact of strategy, or impact of schemes, or a teacher who has produced material, their worth can be determined by taking evaluation studies. Another way of classifying research is based upon the methods. You can classify research into historical research. Historical research deals with the past events. Now, say for example, you are interested in finding out how Punjab University offered programs in engineering before partition, and you would like to trace the historical development. That becomes a historical research. Descriptive research deals with determining the current practices, processes, opinions, reactions of people, and thus deals with determining the status of the phenomena, process, or reactions or opinion. Correlational research deals with establishing relationship between two or more than two variables. For example, you may be interested how intelligence of an individual is related to his or her achievement at school level, at college level, or university level. Or you may be interested in finding out the relationship between the performance at the entry level and the performance in a particular program. So, correlation research deals with establishing relationship. Ex post facto research deals with determining plausible cause and effect relationships. And why ex post facto? Because both cause and effect has already occurred, and you are trying to establish the tentative relationship between the cause and effect. Say for example, in a technical institution, you come across teachers who have undergone induction training, and there are teachers who have not undergone induction training. and you see there is difference in their approach to teaching, learning. So you try to find out, are there differences in the achievement of students, of teachers who have been trained through induction and those teachers who are untrained? So this is, you try to establish tentative or plausible cause and effect relationship. Experimental research, on the other hand, deals with establishing true cause and effect relationships. And when I say true cause and effect, so the teacher may be interested in finding out the effect of computer assisted instruction on the achievement in physics of first year students. So here the researcher is manipulating one variable and trying to see its effect on the other, that is dependent variable. And here descriptive research can be further broken down into three, that is survey research, case study research, and content analysis research. Survey research deals with collecting data from a large sample through questionnaires and determine the current status of one variable or the more than one variable. Case studies, on the other hand, deals with in-depth investigation into a phenomena, into a process, or into an institution or an organization. Say, for example, some well-performing institution, you would like to have a case study to find answer to the question how and why that particular institution is performing better than the others. So case study would be utilized. Content analysis research referred to transforming the qualitative information into the quantitative information. For example, you all communicate in the classroom to students, and you may be interested how a teacher is communicating, how many questions he or she poses in the class, what kind of answers he or she receives, and what kind of feedback the teacher provides to the student. So this kind of research would utilize content analysis research. Correlational research can be further classified in two, that is relationship studies and prediction studies. Relationship, as the term goes, aims at establishing relationship between two or more than two variables. So we took an example to establish relationship between intelligence and achievement. So you can think of number of variables in technical institution where you can establish the relationship, maybe between the aptitude and the performance, maybe the job satisfaction of teacher and the experience the teacher possesses, or the academic environment and the kind of satisfaction that exists among the employees or the teachers. There can be predictive studies. That means you can predict a variable on the basis of another variable. So for example, if you assess the aptitude of the learner, you can predict the person's success in a particular program. For example, if you're testing mechanical aptitude of the students, can his or her performance in mechanical engineering program be predicted on the basis of the aptitude? That is the question which can be answered. Or on the basis of joint entrance examination, can the student's success be determined in a program in engineering and technology? These are the questions which can be answered through predictive research. So in a nutshell, research is formal, systematic application of scientific method of research to finding solution to problems in education setting. And research can be broadly classified on the basis of purpose into four, that is basic research, applied research, action research, and evaluation research. And on the basis of methods, research can be classified into five, that is, historical research, descriptive research, correlation research, ex post facto research, and experimental research.